Have you ever been wounded by life? By things that were literally out of your control? It could have been a parent. You see what I'm saying? It could have been when you were vulnerable. I don't know. It could have been at work, right? And something happened, and your sense of self got tarnished, diminished, right? And you lived with it, but you had to learn to manage it. You see what I'm saying? Like, and you have, there's these unwitting reminders that pop up, right? And you notice that you have to, do your prayers or take deep breaths or take a pause or walk out the room or be quiet or wait on it or just sit down so you can survive the moment, right? And you've been tending to it. At least I have. Let me speak for me, okay? I call it healing. And today I want to teach a bit. What I'm tending to in my own life, in my own spirit, is moving from healing to being whole. Whole different conversation. Whole different thing. Whole different thing. Because when you're healing something, look in your own life, map this onto you. When you're healing, you're tending to an open wound. When you're whole, the wound is no longer there. Okay? I'm in a season of my life where I am committed to being whole. I'm not interested anymore in healing, because healing is an ongoing process, and no shame to it. And there's a season for that. And I've done enough of that. Do you see what I'm saying? I've done enough healing to know that there's a difference between being a healing and whole. Okay? And so I do believe you have to go through the healing phase before you get to like, okay, God, I need to be whole. You know what I'm saying? It's a real word. If you've gone through some things, get a pen and pad, get some tea, sit with me. We want to talk about it. We handling things today, all right? And so what I'm dealing with is I have a background. I come from a background of sheer violence and maliciousness. I come from that. That's my bloodline. That's my heredity. That's my parents. It's a whole thing, right? And so I have been working on myself since I got off the streets, okay? And that was in my teens. So I've been at this for a few decades, right? And it's worked for me. So I want you to be very clear. The healing has made the difference. All the self-help, all the prayer, all the therapy, all the meditation, all of that really has worked because I'm well. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm functional. There are times when I can't be functional because I've exhausted my resource, right? But I'm functional and I'm able to produce and get things done in the world, which is why I am successful. Does it make sense? So you can be wounded and wealthy. So don't worry about that. Wounding doesn't mean you're down and out. It just means you have things that need to be tended to that require care. I'm very clear that I've been healing, and I thank God for my healing. And what I've been growing into, now hear me when I say this, please hear me when I tell you it's a growing into. Please catch that. It wasn't like I went and sought it out, all right? It's a growing into. And what I've been growing into in my spiritual life, so I want you to hear it, it's not a willpower thing. In my spiritual life, in my commitment to my relationship with God, all right? I'm in love with God. God is everything to me, okay? And I've been really choosing to locate myself in God. Does it make sense? There's a difference between knowing God and locating yourself in God. And so by virtue of me locating myself in God, what's been arising, okay? What's been arising is, and I hope this, God help me say it good. What's been arising is how little faith I've had in God in terms of relating to the external world as the source of my effectiveness, my money, my happiness, my joy, my fitness, like anything that's based in what I can do and cause, right? And I didn't realize how much of that was there until I started to locate myself in God, right? And the more I locate myself in God, the more whole I become. And what I mean by that is this. When I let go of or get rid of that something outside of God has any fucking impact on my life. That's where the wholeness comes. You see what I'm saying? It's not COVID has an impact on my life. It's not my diet that has an impact on my life. It's not the weather that has an impact on my life. It's not other people. It's literally my relationship to that is external and turning that into my God. Okay? And so I've been really being with, okay, Lord. Okay, your name is God. You God of the universe, creator. Okay, what are we doing? And the more I locate myself in God, there's nothing to heal. There's nothing, I'm whole, complete, and perfect. Because I am the righteousness of God. I am located in God. I'm not trying to do God. I am located in God. I am covered from head to toe, side, front, back, all the things, right? So there's nothing for me to do. What all there is for me to do is to listen deeply and follow the directions the Spirit gives me to follow. That's it. And so it's a very different kind of organizing principle, because in God is rest. That's the thing. I'm like, okay, so there's nothing for me to do. There's nothing for me to tend to. But my point is that you may want to look to see if in your healing, you're focusing on the wounding, not in a bad way. I've done this, trying to manage the wounding versus being whole. And the only way I know how to get whole is to give up everything that's external to God and literally turn everything into God. The good, the bad, the ugly, the high, the low, all of it. It's like, okay, God, if this is in my life, this is God's will for my life. And there's nothing to worry about, because God would not get me something or bring something to me that wasn't already turned, fixed, that I couldn't manage or handle or do, right? I'm going to encourage you to try it out. See if you can start locating yourself in God, not in the circumstances. If you ever say, oh, I'm late because of traffic, what if you locate yourself in God? Maybe it's like, okay, God, I'm late because I'm not supposed to be there yet. Because if you want me to be there and I'm doing what you told me to do, I'll get there when I get there, and I don't have to feel bad for being late. Do you see what I'm saying? Or if I'm just trying to think something like, I had a dentist, basic stuff, right? I got a dentist thing, right? And I have insurance, and I believe in insurance, and they wouldn't take my insurance for dental stuff, right? And it's been frustrating because it's been over 6 months, right? And I got grumpy. I'm like, oh, yeah, right? And I said, okay, God, help me help myself, right? Help me not trip. And so what I heard was, get a new dentist. Don't that sound basic? So I'm trying to make the dentist honor my insurance. Why don't I just go to another dentist? There's nothing to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like me, go to another dentist. It may be too basic. But my point is that there's nothing but the trying to make them be accountable, trying to make them do right. That's all the wounding. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the wounding. Me surrendering, like, okay, they're doing their thing. Let me go somewhere else. That's God. So my prayers just make sense. It may not. It's okay if it doesn't. I wanted to share. That's it. I'm going to stop talking now. If you're fed by this word, it's like giving word, like affirming word. Please pay it forward. And let me hear from you. How are you placing yourself inside of God, inside of God's rest? How are you doing that? You know, how are you finding rest in God? Or are you fighting battles that ain't yours to fight because you're not supposed to fight them anyway? That's God's job. That's not your job. Your job is not to fight the battle. The battle is God's. So why are you fighting? Why am I fighting the dentist? Right? Well, I'm trying to make them do right by me. Like, no, let's get a new dentist. You know? So anyway, know that you're loved beyond all measure. And just know that you're God wrapped in the flesh. You are. You're made in the image and likeness of God. How cool is that? You know what I'm saying? So you literally are God wrapped in flesh. You are the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the head and not the tail. You are the righteousness of God. Hands down. Hands down. Okay? So know that you're loved. If you're fed by this word, please pay it forward. This is Dr. Venus, Hot Miss Millionaire. Talk to you later. Goodbye for now.